Now at 5 o'clock, the Marion County prosecutor now asking for an independent investigation into the death of Sean Reed. Ryan Mears has made that request today, citing IMPD Chief Randall Taylor's role as witness.
Yeah, that's right. Taylor and the deputy chief started the chase that ended with Reed being shot to death Wednesday afternoon. Mears says the independent prosecutor's role would be to oversee and consult with IMPD throughout the investigative process. He says he will not ask the court to make the appointment confidential to allow transparency.
It is important that all of us in the community come together to better understand that pain and take steps to help heal that pain so we can move forward as a community. It is important that the events that occurred lead to not only important discussions, but important actions that will make Marion County a better and more fair place.
Mayor Joe Hogshead is also asking the U.S. Attorney's Office and the FBI to actively monitor both shootings involving police this week. In a statement, he said, in part, through this monitoring, we reaffirm our commitment to a transparent criminal and civil review of these incidents and the conduct of those officers involved. Importantly, it is my hope that our city may also reaffirm its dedication to channeling the sadness and anger felt by so many into displays of peaceful protest. We have team coverage tonight. We'll get to Stephanie Zeppelin in just a moment. Let's start with News 8's Richard Essex.
Sean Reed recorded his own death, and it was broadcast live on Facebook. But does the video tell the whole story?
Y'all know I'm not getting away.
Sean Reed was running from the cops, and he knew it wasn't going to end well. The last 14 minutes and 44 seconds of his life are recorded and were broadcast live on Facebook. Knowing how this story ends makes it difficult to watch. He apologizes to his mother. He runs through a police barricade. He is a young man on the run, and only he knows the real reason why. James Wilson didn't know Reed, but he's become familiar with his story in the past 48 hours.
I don't want to speak on behalf of Sean and his family by any means.
Wilson founded Circle Up Indy to take on economic, employment, and violence issues here in the city. It is no secret that there's a level of mistrust towards the police, regardless of the race of the officer in the black community.
And I don't think it's so much as a race thing in this scenario, but once again, we don't know what was going on with Mr. Reed's head by any means, you know. And the only thing I seen, once again, I don't have to see what's visual, the video, right?
The visual record of this chase will be debated for years. The central question may never get answered. Why was he running, and why did police call off the pursuit?
There's a lot to look at. Let's put you like that. There's definitely a lot to look at from all perspectives, right? Especially from our community's perspective and law enforcement's perspective, right? They got to look at things, how it really happened, what unfolded, so on and so forth, as they're doing right now. And we in the community, you know, we have to take a step back and look at it too. What really happened? What's the real truth? And that's what we're asking for.
IMPD Chief Randall Taylor says the department's reputation has taken a hit.
I recognize and am saddened that this mutual trust we so value has been eroded over the last 24 hours.
We have an hour and 18 minutes of video of Sean Reed's Facebook Live post. Reed's last words were an explicative towards the police officer chasing him. The next words come from what is believed to be the officer that shot Reed, calling over the radio that there was a police action shooting. The next words came from the same voice, but this time a highly emotional voice saying, "Oh my God," followed by an increasing chorus of police sirens. When Reed got out of his car and ran, did he know that police would shoot? Had he pulled over on the interstate and stopped instead of running, what would have happened?
I'm not arguing about what the scenario may be, how he ran, didn't run, shouldn't have ran, so on and so forth. That's not my place until I have all the clear facts.
The facts as they have been presented to us by the police department, the police say that there were two guns recovered, one that belonged to the officer and one that was found next to Reed, and shots had been fired from both of those guns. In downtown Indianapolis, Richard Essex for Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
Richard, thank you. We are learning more about Sean Reed today. IT-mate Stephanie Zeppelin dug into his background today for us. What were you able to learn?
Yeah, Nina, his last interactions with a police officer before this shooting ended in a traffic stop, 2 felonies, and 2 misdemeanors. Last September, an IMPD officer saw Sean Reed driving a stolen car with Texas plates. The officer pulled Reed over and another officer came to help. Court documents state Reed was recording the stop on his phone. Officers found a bottle of codeine with someone else's name on it in the car. When officers told Reed the car was reported stolen, he said he didn't know and had rented it from someone else. They placed Reed in leg shackles after he refused to sit down, yelled at officers, and even threatened them physically. Court documents state he continued yelling and threatening officers while they called Fort Worth police about the car. Fort Worth police said Reed was not a suspect in the stolen car case. Police found Reed was driving with an expired and suspended driver's license. He was charged with 2 counts of intimidation, driving while suspended, and possession of a controlled substance. Court records show Reed failed to show up for a court appearance in this case, and a warrant had been issued. Court documents say Reed had a previous license suspension for failing to appear in a case from January 2019. Reed was in the Air Force from February to November of 2017. The Air Force would not tell us why he left. He was stationed out of San Antonio. Stephanie Zeppelin, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
Thank you, Stephanie. To the